Van was sitting on the bed while putting the clothes for her newborn baby in the bag. It was a dream to become a mom, but it was so hard because he never even looked at her. She didn't know why he hated her so much. Why was his behavior so cold towards her? He told her on the first day of marriage or on their first meeting that he might never give her enough happiness, but she accepted him because she loved him. And now she started to realize she should have listened to him. Because everyone deserved love, he told her not to marry him because she was so blinded in love at that time. He was her first love, but she wasn't him. He loved his money more than anyone. He was ready to do anything to gain power and money. He might be her everything, but she wasn't. That was her Pope. She always thought that about her that life. There was no joy in her marriage. She put the bag aside and lay down. Everyone thought that she married him just for the money because he was so rich, but it wasn't true. But it was useless to tell everyone that. She closed her eyes and she knew that he would not come back tonight. While on the other hand, he was sitting with Ravi, he was smiling and she was laughing. You are so funny. He smiled, but in reality, he was so pissed he just wanted to give her and stole all the papers and he was playing with her. Your voice makes me happy. Really? Stop. I know you are lying. You are always like this. Now you have to go. His face fell. Why stay here for a while? I don't want you to go. No, you have to. She said while getting up. She turned and his eyes changed into anger, but still he act. Let's meet again. But my schedule is very busy nowadays. It's okay, I will wait. She smiled and walked out, and he after he couldn't handle her cheapness. He was doing all this big just to get the paper she was, of course, he was had to catch. He wanted to those people because they had his information. He wasn't interested in rape. He opened the door of the room and she was sleeping peacefully. He walked towards her while losing his tea and threw it on the floor. He took off his shoes and looked at her. She stopped waiting for me. He saw that as he felt her behavior, he caught up and lay down beside her. He touched her hair and did she stop loving him? Maybe she was tired of him. He sniffed her fragrance. But suddenly his cell phone started ringing. He immediately picked up the call and not to wake up and it was Rev. Are you at your house? Yes. And why are you asking? I think I just want to know. Let's talk. He was so annoyed. I want to sleep, and mine is also sleeping. He threw his cell phone aside and lay down. As he was tired, he fell asleep while he was just his friends and didn't want to be her friends, but was doing that just to get information on those papers as she was had so many information. The next day, Wine was sitting there while watching the movie. She was eating her favorite snack. He was still sleeping and she didn't wake him up. He came out of the room and she looked at him. He walked towards her and she didn't ask him anything. She stopped asking where he was or what he wanted. Wake up so early, she nodded. I am okay, you don't have to worry about me. Her voice tone was changed as he could feel the coldness. He nodded and got up and walked out of there acting like he cares. I know you don't like my presence. I'm just doing this just to break my heart. I heard many things about me. A few minutes later, he came out fully dressed up. He looked at him and knew that he was going to the office. Don't wait for me, she nodded, and he walked out without having the breakfast. She after hated his life. She never wanted this type of life. She bore many things against herself after marrying. People called her a cold digger, many things, but those things weren't hurt her now. Those things hurt her when she remembered them. She thought that why did she bear and those accused if she still had this type of life. All this she sat alone and slept when she didn't need money. Now she thought that she would use his money. She got up and went to get ready. She wouldn't live like a dead. She called her old friends and they called it has been so many years since she visited this. Now she was looking at the cars and bikes. She was standing there confidently and was watching the drifting of cars. She smiled and then her friends called her. She looked at them and I still can't believe I'm seeing you here. She smiled and they stood in front of each other. Well, how can he let you come here? So let's start. When are you ready? When nodded and sat on one of those bikes. She was doing that after so many years. Let's go. She started in one part of the bike and vanished from Nico's sight. His eyes waited as he immediately caught Janku. Nico was his personal guard. He was here with Rabra. I was looking at the things and he was looking at the company and thinking that the company might have earned so much. His only focus was the money. He only came here as the company owner invited him, but Rav was also there with their other friends. Now he had to act like a good boy, which he wasn't. His mind was somewhere else. But Janku looked at this. She said, "We're smiling." He looked at her, and they are so beautiful. Yes, he looked at her, but not more than he. But she hit his arm softly. Stop! I feel cringed. I also. I smiled when he smiled badly. Suddenly his cell phone started ringing. He picked up the call and Rafe looked at her, and his face was after hearing Nika was telling him. Mine was laughing while standing with her friends and while leaning to the bike. She was drinking her favorite cold drink after so many years. She felt happiness. She didn't want to go home, but suddenly a car stopped in front of her And she came out of it and she stared at him. He was staring into her eyes. She took a deep breath and her friends knew what was going to happen. In house, why do you go there without asking me? Why do I ask you? Huh? Like you don't care about me and you don't have to worry about me. I can take care of myself and protect myself. He walked towards and grabbed her by her arm. What if something happened to you? Nothing will happen with me. I'm alive and standing in front of you. I'm tired of being alone. Can't I just go out and enjoy my life? It's all about you. Can't I do anything except wait for you all night? No, while not that you won't come, I've never stopped you doing anything. Never stopped you talking to your girl best friends because I know this is your work to keep an eye on everyone. He was shocked to see it like this. He never showed him his rage. She yanked his hand. I will do what I want. I know you don't care about me, so stop doing this. Act and you will not stop me anymore because if you can't give me time or love them, stop rationing me. You're not that much powerful that your enemies. I will do what I want, and you cannot stop me now, unable to do anything for me. He was standing at he was staring at her shock. She turned into the room. He never knew that she felt this. And then he thought of not stopping her for going. He sat down and held his head. She came in. She came into the room and she was present and took up everything. She was still so angry. She wanted to do something or maybe slap someone out of rage. She changed her clothes and lay down angrily, fake care of fake laugh. She closed her eyes within a few minutes and she slept. He entered and looked at her. He never thought that she was the start of him. The next day she opened her eyes and saw him sleeping while sitting beside her. She rolled her eyes and got up while going to the closet. She saw his cell phone. She grabbed it and asked him as it was showing on the screen. She knew Raven and his friends. Well, she put it back without caring. In the office, he was staring at the floor while thinking about wine. His company was about food, but he did work in the. When he entered and looked at him, she walked towards him and Junko, what are you thinking? He looked at her. What do you want? I read the documents of your company. Why? My team wants to research on it. Why does your team want to do this? Go and tell them I will not let them do this. How can you let them do this? I'm your friend. Janko, don't be childish. It's important. Why always do this? We always and every company want to check if anyone in your company supplies things to. No, nobody does. Why is wrong with you? Why are you behaving like this? I like your friend. He said when now what happened? He was very so pissed and now his mind went crazy and he couldn't wait to kick her out of his office. You can go and tell them you will not let them research about my company if you really consider a friend. So, okay, you are so childish. She walked out. He have the sign. Ryan was laughing with her friends and Nico was just looking at her while talking to his boss. He was looking so happy and they came here for the dinner. Now she didn't care about him and she tried so hard to do everything for him. If his first priority was money, then her was happiness. Is she happy? On the phone he asked. Yes, so much. I never seen her with this much. Is she laughing? He asked. Yes, so much. Okay, Nico cut the call and just paused her. While Janko's heart was burning with thinking that she was happy without him, and then she had a dinner with them and went to watch the movie with her friends. She didn't want to go home because it only gave her anxiety that made her alone. In the middle of the night, Japan came out of the car with the help of Nika as she was sleeping. She looked up and he was standing in front of her. She walked towards him and accepted him and asked her what he did and they walked in the house. She didn't behave. He made her lay down on the bed. She turned her face and fell asleep. Something made them go far from each other. They weren't interested in each other's life. He wanted to do his work and she wanted to live her life. He wanted her for force her as well. She wanted to live her life. The next morning he was talking to the about company, but suddenly his eyes went to the baby's clothes. He knew that it was her dream. He grabbed them and they were so cute. He smiled and looked at her. She was getting ready, but not for him. She changed because she didn't even look at him like she did. At night, they both were sitting beside each other. Today they came back earlier. He looked at her and he leaned towards her and her eyes were on him. He backed off and when she hugged him while cupping his face, they laid down. Rip was standing here while trying to call Jungkook, but his cell phone was off. Suddenly a car stopped in front of her and Rip, what are you doing here? I was waiting for someone to help me because my car broke down, but now you come. He smiled and she sat down in the car. Well, where you were coming? I was coming back from my company. Is it perfect? Yeah. I suggest you not to do this. This is change certificate. He cannot because I have so many good agents with me. He humbled your work is so impressive. The next morning when I opened her eyes and she was hugging, she couldn't believe that she forgot about her anger last night. Well, now she was happy because he felt her do everything. He let her do everything. She again closed her eyes and but his cell phone started ringing and she picked up the call. Hey, Janko, she said. You are his wife, of course, and what do you call him? Sorry. Actually, I want to talk to him about his company. He's sleeping. Tell him I call him. What was she saying? She wanted to talk about company. What does she know? What does she know about it? What does she want to know about it? He suddenly asked. She thought that she could trick me. She smiled. If she is your friend, then why is she doing this? Because she is snake. She thinks that I will listen to her. Don't listen to her. Smile. Don't take tension. He looked at her and pulled her towards him. In the company, I found out about that when she said excited, but Junk was just staring at her. Really tell me about him. He is powerful and has a wife. He hummed. Love their wives. They like to go to girls' hotels and their lifestyles. Not everyone like what you are thinking about. But what do you mean? I mean, not every bad person cheat on his wife. He might only love his wife. Yes, you are right, but this is impossible. But I have research about him. 1 month later, everything was going well between them. Now she didn't have any complaints. One was ready to go to her friend's birthday. Sank was on work and Nico was with her to protect her. Sanku never doubted at her because he believed that she only loved him, and he sent Nico with her just because he was scared of getting into a danger. She sat down in the car and was talking to him. The driver's part of the car and mine was still talking to him, telling him about her friends, but she got the call and wanted to reach there on the destination. On the way, she saw a convenience store. Nico, can you please get me some coffee? He nodded and the driver stopped the car. He walked out about it. He came out while holding the coffee while using his cell phone from the other hand. His wife was texting him because he was smiling and while reading because he got married last week. His mind was full of his wife, but suddenly he looked up and there was no car on the road. His face fell and he looked around. He panicked as he realized something bad happened. He walked towards the other road and tried to think positive. They see wine on the floor and her face hit the floor. She hissed and looked at them. Blood started coming out of her lower lip. She touched him. Who is your husband? What is his name? A few men were standing in front of her. Why are you asking? Just tell me. I will not tell till my last breath. Or really? You have to tell me because if you don't, then we will hurt you. I will not tell you. She barely talked as her body was shivering. Then ready to, they started. He was watching them from her household with her fellows. So what do you think she will tell or not? She has to tell about him. We have to know who is he. She was watching them beating her mercilessly. How can they do this? How can they know she is my wife? Find her as soon as possible. His guard noted that he was going crazy. If they try to harm him, then I will destroy their whole association. Just find her and bring her to me. The guard ran out. They wanted to find her in a started because he knew that what they did was. Hermione was staring at the wall, but her tears were falling. Her whole body was bruised. They broke her so many bones. She didn't have the stamina to stand straight. She was just feeling like a dead person waiting for him. She knew that if she told his name, they would kill him. So she was ready to sacrifice herself for him. And the next day, Vine opened her eyes and he was sitting in front of her. She couldn't believe that he did this. But if didn't know she was the wife of Janko. So will you tell me his name or not? No. What do you want to die? Do you love him so much? Vine didn't answer her and just stared at her. Well, now we will not beat because we want you alive. She got up and drank this. She put the glass towards Vine with her feet, shoes, and walked out. Vine's tears were falling. As she was so sensitive, she closed her eyes and she again opened them. And this time she was in the medical room, which was in his house. The doctors were treating him. Her she was in so in pain. She couldn't believe that he saved her and she came out of there alive. She again closed her eyes. After 3 days, she opened her eyes and sat down. She was feeling well. No one was there. She sat down and she got up. Her eyes were still in her hands were still in pain, but because they broke her fingers, she hardly walked towards the door and she was afraid to be alone. When she came out, she was sitting on the couch while his face was blank and his eyes was tight. Junkie looked at her and to her. She hugged him. He picked her up and why do you come out? I don't want to live there. The eye was still attached to her hand. They sat down and he touched her face. They hit me so much. He hissed when he touched her. His tears were on the verge of falling. He kissed her face and I became so ugly. No, don't say that. My body is still in so much pain. If did this, his face fell as his eye turned into God. Darker team did this. He did it and hugged her. He closed her face and then removed her shirt. Her body was full of bruises. His heart was breaking. He looked at her and kissed her forehead. They have to pay for this after disturbance. She nodded and then he sat down beside her. In the house, he waited. Happily was smiling, but he was standing there in full rage, and she was happy to see his apartment. Hi. He looked at her and she stood in front of him. Where have you? He grabbed her by her and had leaned her on the table. His grip was so tight. How dare you to? The artist tried to perceive what I mean. You know she is my wife, and with whom you and your team beat. Now you have to pay for this. She tried to push him as he started to turn blue, but he was holding her. As he smashed her head so many times on the table as if she pushed him and ran out. She ran out of his apartment, sat on it with his fellow and drove away. He had gone crazy for revenge. He couldn't survive in pain. He was so afraid to hide his true side. He was ready to destroy everyone, including Rafe. What happening as he started running inside the office while breathing heavily. He is behind me. Her confidence her condition was over, so he panicked and he looked at her like someone tried to. Yes, she started coughing. He helped her to sit and gave her the glass of water. Tears were falling. Now tell me who's dad when she have son and dad girl with the way we beat his chunkus wasn't he is who we are trying to find. He was so shocked to hear what she was saying. Really she and he tried to for her he said he would get out her. He was ready to him. Suddenly her vision started blurring and she fell on a chance her head. While on the other hand, Janko entered the room while smiling. She was sitting on the bed. I okay, my baby, he asked. She nodded and he sat down beside her. I have a surprise for you. She smiled excitedly. You would like it, but first you have to get better. She nodded and he hugged her. 2 months later, Janku's guard was still behind them. Revan and Fahim were hiding from them. Rashan was sitting in front of Revan. I will kill his wife. He tried to kill for her. Just see what I will do. What do you want? When he hurt you, because he loved her so much, it will be good to see him crying. I'm ready to do everything. While on the other hand, Janko grabbed her hand and they came out of the car. It was so beautiful place. The cake was placed in the middle. Today was their anniversary. She became happy. They were there. They were with their close friends. They walked towards the cake and caught it. Everyone happy was them for them when he made her eat the cake. They were so happy. It was better than before. Harry was roaring and she was ready to do what she was wished for. She was ready to hurt him. She got up and her team didn't know about it. She walked out lonely and was ready to do what she wanted to do for a long time. Mohan was going back to the house. Guards were with him. Janko went to the office as someone tried to hack his system. He was sitting was staring outside. Nika was with her along with her many guards. She was so peaceful, but suddenly they heard and they looked back and the car of the other guards who were behind them. Someone once alphabetically and Nico looked at the driver and opened her eyes and she was here in a barren building. The weather was so cool and snow was falling. She sat down, nothing happened with her. She was okay. She looked around and Janko, she said, and Rape came out, was smoking it. I didn't know what was happening. She walked towards and she got up. But why he hurt me for you? I thought that he would never hurt me, but he did. Why you are so important to him, huh? If you are that much more important, then I will love to drive you away from him. You are coming in between him and I. Once she started falling, please don't kill me, it's my dream. No, I looked at him, please don't do this. But I have, and then a few seconds in the stomach, my fell on her, she again shot her. Janku's heart was pounding as if had something bad happened. He was trying to find her. Then in the middle of the road, he saw the car. Noiko and the other guards were in so much bad condition, he ordered them to take the hospital and then again he drove to find her. The truck was in the abandoned place. After half an hour, he entered it and hit the scene behind his and broke it as he ran towards her and sat down while pulling her towards him. He touched her swimming face and her eyes were closed and one opening her eyes, but she was no more. He checked her heartbeat and started crying. His tears started falling as he had to close her. She was so cold, he wrapped his coat around her and he cried while hugging her. He sobbed as he couldn't believe what just happened. He tried to wake her up and knowing that she was no more, his clothes was filled with her blood. She didn't deserve this. He kissed her forehead and just cried. The guards came and just stopped after seeing them. Everything changed between.